Welcome to Getting Home Sourced with G. Your one-stop shop for all things real estate. Gianno is your go-to guy with over 25 years of experience in the game, serving up the insider scoop on buying, selling, and investing in two of the hottest markets, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Cabo, Mexico. Whether you're looking to score the perfect home, seal the deal on a sale, or dive into the world of international investments, G's got the tips, tricks, and swagger to make it happen. Remember, in Nevada, the smart choice is the right choice. And when it comes to Cabo, you better go oceanside with Cabo G. If you were looking for a quiet, tranquil show about real estate, this ain't it. Gianno has this thing called passion. Let's unleash the beast. This is Welcome to Getting Home Sourced. And now your host, Gianno.
Well, you know what time it is, folks, when you hear that jingle. It is Mexico time. That's right. I will be down there in 3 weeks. So mark your calendars. If you're coming on down to Cabo, I will be there November 12th to the 26th. I got a 2-week stay. So if you're snoozing, boozing, or if you're losing over here at the casinos in Vegas or wherever you are in the world, come on down. I will be there live. Be there for a solid 2 weeks. And I'll also be doing live shows down there with agents in my office. We're going to be covering more intricate stuff about how to purchase in Mexico. But this show, folks, we're going to be doing something different. We're going to be covering questions in fan mail because, believe it or not, I was actually even shocked. I actually got a lot of questions and a lot of people responding back. So I took the 5 best questions that I thought that would be good, diverse, that kind of ties in with all the shows that we've been covering and talking about. So I'm just going to jump right in because there's a lot of information to cover over here. As you know, we are the source of the source, and it's street talk, it's real talk, it's the real deal. And I'm just going to jump right in. So here we go.
You've got mail,
our first
baby.
question
Yeah.
is coming from Omar A. in Dubai. And Omar, first of all, he says, thank you for mentioning Dubai in your last previous podcast. Really appreciate it. But how come you don't talk more about Dubai? Because there's a lot of things going on over here. And he was quick to point out that actually the Wynn Casino, which is based out of Las Vegas, is actually building a hotel casino resort in Dubai. More specifically, they're doing a man-made island out there, which I was told is called Al Marjan Island, which is in Rak, R-A-K. I hope I said that right. And it's called Ras Al Khaimah. So I hope I said that right. Ras Al Khaimah, hopefully I get that right, which is supposed to open up in 2027. That's what they're expecting to open. So he wants to ask about Dubai. How come I'm not mentioning it more? And, well, we're going to mention it now. So because it's interesting that he brought that point across because it was brought to my attention last week that now in November, we're going to have yet another Dubai Real Estate Expo show, which is going to take place Saturday and Sunday, November 16th and the 17th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Unfortunately, I'll be Cabo G now, so I'm taking my Vegas G hat off, and I'm going to be putting my Cabo G hat on, and bam, while I'm down in Cabo on the beach doing live remotes, we have Dubai Real Estate Expos going on. So I think it's kind of interesting and coincidental that while the Wynn, which unbeknownst to me was building a hotel resort casino out there, is having real estate people come into Vegas to basically talk about United Emirates. They're talking about Dubai. They're talking about Iraq. And they're talking about how to buy properties there, which when I did some due diligence and research, I found out that you could buy a property for as low as $350,000 US dollars. And for that, you get 10-year residency permit for the entire family. Now, I don't know if it's permanent or temporary. Didn't get specific about that. I guess you'll know when you go to the expo in November. But I thought that was pretty interesting because now we're having an American influence with, for the first time ever, they're going to have casino gaming in basically the Middle East area, northern region of Africa, which is really amazing how they're going to integrate that region with casino and having American influence involved with that. So, folks, 2027, I mean, hey, if you're in the Dubai area, there'll be a Wynn Casino out there partnering up with the United Arab Emirates. So, definitely want to check that out. And I think that's pretty amazing. So, which makes me even more interested to finding out about Dubai and real estate, foreign investments, how that works out there. So, for people that are already in the know and that have access to realtors in Dubai outside of my connections that I have, want to check it out because it looks like that's going to be a happening situation. So, again, Omar, I appreciate you sending out that information. And yes, Dubai is on the radar for a lot of people globally and as well as here domestically for U.S. citizens that are actually looking at investing in Dubai. It looks like that's going to be a hot market, if not already. So, again, thank you for your insight and the information. And like I said, folks, that's what we do here. We provide information, and obviously, we're getting good response and getting good feedback because guess what? Now I have people asking questions, which I like. This is what it's all about. It's about feedback, interaction. I love when people email in and they send me questions and get it out on the air. And that's what I like to do. So if you do have any questions, again, the plug, Gianno at VegasHomeSource.com. Obviously, we're on Getting Home Sourced, of course, with G, your host, G. And we're going to do fan mail. So this will be a segment that I think I'm going to incorporate into future shows. So again, for more questions for people that have answers that they need to get a hold of and they just don't know where to get it, and YouTube is not the answer, I'm GTube. So you come to me, GTube will get you set up. So now we're going to go to our second question. And this one's coming from Heath J in Toronto, where Heath comes in. First and foremost, I love when everybody kind of puts a tab saying, we love you, you're great, the show's funny, you're funny. So this one was pretty good, where he goes, you're a funny guy. I love listening to you. It's too bad we don't have more of you like out here in Toronto. And I says, so now I got to do a scene from the Goodfellas. Says, hey, Heath, am I funny? Do I make you laugh like funny? Ha ha funny? Like how funny? Do I amuse you? Am I a clown? Like what are we talking about over here? Hey, come on, Heath. So anyway, that's my Goodfellas impersonation. Now, Heath writes in because Canadian, and he wants to know how do Canadians buy in the U.S. as well as in Mexico? So with that question, I'm going to take it in two parts because the Mexico section is a little bit easier because Canadians and Americans get treated the same when they go down into Mexico because you are a foreign investor. You have to go through the process of getting permanent residency. You have to get temporary residency first before you purchase. The purchase price down there, $300,000, gets you in the door for temporary residency. If you're 65 and over and you're retired, you can go right to permanent, which is fantastic. I was fortunate enough to get in back in 2022 when they changed the laws where I can get down there for work related and boom, get the permanent residency. Of course, now they made it a little bit more difficult and challenging. Obviously, you can still get it, but you still got to go through some hoops. Same thing with Canadians. So Canadians and Americans buying in Mexico, specifically Cabo, because that's what I'm going to be focusing on. You got to go through a expediter who I have one down there. She's a sweetheart and she'll definitely take care of you. It's going to be costly, folks. It's not cheap getting down there, but again, if you're purchasing property at 300,000 and up, then $3,000 to $4,000 to go through the process of getting your temporary first and or your permanent second, well worth the money. And remember, folks, like I told you in past show, it's a write-off. You can write those things off for your expenses down there. Of course, like I do, being a realtor, so anything I do down there for expenses, when I do my travel, my food, taking clients out, what have you, it's a write-off, right? So we got that covered. As far as the U.S., now in the U.S., we have what's called FIRPA, which is FIRPTA. So FIRPA is basically mean for a Foreign Investment in Real Estate Property Tax Act, which means that because you take title of a property outside of a domestic person, corporation, partnership, what have you, because you're coming in as a foreign entity in that capacity as a foreign investor, foreign person, partnership, corporation, you're not treated as a domestic situation, you're going to get taxed. So it's the seller's responsibility through title, especially in Nevada and Arizona, since I focus on their two title states, you have to withhold 15% for capital gains tax on the sale of your property. Each state could be different, but primarily for Vegas and Arizona, 15%. It can even go as high as 20. So again, you have to check that out to see what your capital gain is, what you bought the property for, and what you sell for. I will tell you, dealing with FERPAs and dealing with foreign investors, and especially Canadians, I will say that you really should get a corporation, which I talked about last week's show. Get yourself incorporated, get a U.S. corporate, Nevada, Arizona, whatever state that you're buying in. A lot of people domestically will have, let's say, a Wyoming corporation, and then they'll go buy in California because, again, that corporation less on taxes. So there's a lot of game playing going on with that, and we'll talk about that down the road. But for this instance, that's what you have to do as a Canadian. Try to get yourself incorporated. Otherwise, you could be paying the foreign taxes, which is the FERPA tax, and that's going to be minimum 15%. And there are a lot of Canadians that are buying in the US, and there's tons more that are buying in Cabo because, again, snowbird season, where a lot of Canadians, especially in the triangle, as I call it, in the British Columbia, you have Vancouver, then you also have in Alberta, you have Calgary and Edmonton, that triangle there. They always used to go to Phoenix back in the day when I lived in Phoenix, and they set up shop down there and they go from October to April, and that's 6 months. They're loving life. Now they're going even further south because that's a second home for them, and maybe even a primary home, and then they go back when they want to. But in the winter months up there, October to April, they are down in Cabo loving life. So I urge people, if you're thinking about buying a second home, if you're Canadian, definitely want to look at Cabo. Phoenix is great too, but Cabo's better because obviously you have the beach, you have the ocean, and you can capture fishing and all the fun things that you can do that you may not be able to do in a desert town like Phoenix and or Las Vegas. So I hope that answered your question, Heath. I really appreciate you for sending that over. And like I said, I think it's important for people to really think about corporate trusts and corporations, partnerships, what have you. Talk to your legal attorney, talk to people who can help you out doing that. Or you can email me or write into me, call me. 888-528-2810 from my Canadian and international friends, and locally here, 702-528-2810. So on that note, let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back because I have 3 more questions that I want to answer and get that information out to you. So I'll be right back.
Are you looking to go up? Is vertical the new horizon for you? Then Gianno can get you high in the sky, literally and figuratively. Gianno has the knowledge and relationships with properties of high-rise, mid-rise, and low-rise, whichever you prefer. Call Gianno and let him get you into that penthouse view no matter what floor you are on. In Vegas, the smart choice is the right choice with Gianno, and if you are looking for beachfront and or ocean view, going oceanside with Cabo G will have you seeing for miles and miles in Mexico, where the sea is endless and the beach is within walking distance for you. Remember, Gianno is your go-to realtor, but more important, he is your go-to guy.
Hey, thank you for sticking around. We got a lot of great questions here that I want to get out to because they're fun. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's interaction, it's knowledge, it's information, and people want to know. So my next one is from Mike W. in New Jersey. Hey, New Jersey. Hey, what exit you in, Mikey? What exit? What exit? We don't say what town you're in Jersey. It's always what exit. Garden State? Is it the 78? Is it the Thruway? So I don't know. He didn't tell me, but he says he loves listening to the show. Great show. He says, you seem to know your stuff. Well, thank you, Mike. I really appreciate that. So his question was, being on the East Coast, what's a better investment opportunity, Vegas or Cabo, since your show focuses on both? What do you think? Well, to be honest with you, I think that if you're an East Coaster like me, you can't go wrong with both because obviously in Jersey, you have the shore, you have the Jersey Shore, and you also have Long Island, when I used to go out to the Southampton area, West Hamptons, and what have you. And then, of course, you have Vegas, because Vegas is a desert area, basically not even any taxes compared to how you get beat up in New York with taxes. Cabo has the ocean too, different lifestyle, very laid back. It's a vacation destination resort, just like Vegas. So really, Vegas and Cabo are the same. I said both. I mean, you really can't go wrong. It just depends upon what you want. Do you want to be in the U.S. or do you want to have a secondary investment in Mexico? I'm telling you right now, a lot of people are turning their attention. They want to go to Mexico. That seems to be where the action's at. So from that point, I would say Cabo, just because I think you get better value, and especially if you want to do an Airbnb, or if you want to just actually have it as a fractional, you stay in it for however many months or weeks that you want, and then you could sell it out after that to family, friends, or what have you. Not actually make it a short-term rental. Can't say really Airbnb, but we'll just say short-term rental. But you know what I mean. So in that aspect, I would say go with Cabo for right now. Of course, I'm in Vegas. I would love to have you come into Vegas as well. But if Cabo, if you're a little bit on the fence on it, which most people are, because again, we still have that stigma that, oh, you can't own in there. And I keep pounding the point home that yes, you can. And if you listen to my episode about Mexico, it gets into that because I'm not going to cover that right now. So, Mike, I really appreciate the question. So I hope that kind of helps you out if you're listening and gives you some clarity on where to go. But you can't lose either way. Now, my fourth question is from Charles H. in the Ozarks. And I was like, wow, the Ozarks, the Mizzou. He was on Camper Radio. And he actually wrote into me and he says, I've been with you since day one. You make me and my wife laugh. We get a chuckle on our face. You're hysterical. We love the information. And we're on Camper Radio. And I said, Camper Radio? How the heck did I get out there in Camper Radio? So anyway, I love it. So his question was, is it a great time to buy in Mexico? And if so, where should I buy? Cabo, La Paz, or San Jose? Excellent question. I didn't really cover that too much on my Mexico show because, again, it's a 20-minute show here, so I'm trying to get that all in. But I will say it's different. So Cabo is more of the action town. It's like Vegas. It's where everything's happening. You got all the tourists going on. That's the place to be, downtown Cabo area, the restaurants, the pier, the marina. They all go fishing when Brisbane comes in October, actually, this month, actually, is going on with the biggest fishing pretty much in the world. Now, again, La Paz is more country bumpkin, laid back, small town. And folks, for all you history buffs out there, La Paz is actually the capital of Baja California Sur. And people think in the Baja California that Tijuana is the capital, and that's not it. Actually, it's Mexicali, which is just over from Tijuana. So that's the capital of Baja California, but Baja California Sur is La Paz. And La Paz actually has some of the best beaches ever, so you got to check them out. And San Jose is very chill, very relaxed. It's like Greenwich Village of New York. It's like the Grove in LA, maybe the Wharf in San Francisco. It's just a good vibe. It's laid back, artsy, craftsy, nice art festivals, wine areas. Really, really fun. You can't go wrong with anyone. Just again, it depends upon what's important to you, want, need. Do you want to be near the action? Do you want to be laid back? Or do you want to be urban and go all the way out to the, I guess, rural areas, but not too far away of being urban, which would be La Paz. And again, that's a capital. It's a very quiet area. And so any three, you can't go wrong. And we'll get into those shows later on when I'm down in Mexico. So obviously, wink, wink, tune in for that. So I appreciate the question. Again, you can't go wrong with any of them. They're all super, super, super exciting and great places to live and safe, folks. That's the key word, safe. And my last question is from Lily F. from Guadalajara. And Lily was listening because I actually have a big contingent of listeners in Mexico, which is awesome. So hopefully it's my office and passing that out to people and the expats that live down there. But this is in the mainland. And she wanted to know, I'm glad that your show is coming on. This is exciting, very informative. I get to learn about U.S. investments. So her question is the opposite of the other one. So now she wants to know, how do you buy as a Mexican citizen in the U.S.? Great question. We have a lot of people that buy over here from Mexico. And I'm not a lender, but working with lenders and working with people of Hispanic descent that are not basically here in the U.S., it's called an ITIN. So an ITIN is what you need, which is an individual taxpayer identification number. That gets you the process started. It's very document paper heavy for a lender to get you qualified. And like Americans and Canadians that have to put more money down when they're buying a foreign investment in Mexico, same thing with Mexican people. They will have to come in and put more money down. Again, it depends upon the equation, but you will come in, pay more money with that. And at the same time, it could be, again, and the interest rates are going to be higher as well. So you're going to have heavy down, Again, when I say heavy down, maybe 20 to 25, 30% and higher interest rate, but that's because you are a foreign citizen and not a domestic citizen and not a U.S. citizen. So hopefully that helps you out on that one. And with that, I mean, obviously you can see how time flies with our show. But again, I'm really excited because it's going to be my new segment. Maybe I'll take a question the next time instead of having 5, but at least I had a lot of response, which I like. So again, I just want to wrap up by saying thank you so much as always. You guys are the best. Again, please, we need subscriptions. We want to hit the 5,000 subscription count because that just takes us to the next plateau. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a plug. And we'd love to have 5,000. Right now we're at 3,400. So my goal is to get 1,700 more. We want to get that 5,000 plus an extra 100. And then that boosts me and the show, Getting Home Sourced, into the top 100 with all the streaming podcasts. So let's shoot for that. Let's have some strong numbers. Please go out, tell everybody about me, Getting Home Sourced. And again, you can reach me toll free. Remember, toll free G now, 888-528-2810 for all my international people that want to get a hold of me. Forget about WhatsApp. Throw that out the door. You don't need that with me. You call my 888. Domestically, 702-528-2810. And Gianno at VegasHomeSource.com. So on that note, just want to say thank you again, everybody. Have a great week. Remember, Cabo's coming up in 3 weeks, and I'll remind everybody again when it gets closer. I hope to see people down there from the show. Thank you all for listening and participating. Have a great week. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Take care.